TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Yes, I know it's been a few days, but ultimately, guys, I have a few things that I'm really going to get into. So first and foremost, I'm going to be talking about borrowing credibility. I have a little bit of a, I guess you say a script over here, but I want you guys to understand that there's a few things. So first and foremost, I have Good Chop showing up, which I will show you guys that video coming up very, very soon. Second of all, follow me on TikTok. There is a video on there for you guys explaining all of my nutritional lifestyle, being a carnivore. Third of all, borrowing credibility has something to do with transmuting real confidence and trust and not always seeking validation outside of you, which generally a lot of people talk about, but they don't inherently do a lot. And then last but not least, I am going to be starting that full 75-day hard now that I'm in that mode of transformation. I mean, I've already intercorrelated different aspects of it, and I have my own rules. And so I've already been kind of like simultaneously doing it, but I'm really going to start really ingraining in it, and just continuously being consistent, and so there's a lot of different aspects. I've trained, I've cultivated. I feel very, very healthy as a carnivore right now. And so I know that, I get a lot of compliments. I get a lot of wow, your complexion's great. Your skin is fantastic. Your skin is so elastic. It's so bright, it's so glamorous. It's so, you just seem so enthusiastic all the time. You seem ecstatic and blissful all the time. You're really happy. You're less, all this different type of stuff. So let's talk about it, guys. Now, today we are getting into borrowing credibility. So credibility or credit. What is credit? So a lot of people have credit, all right? You guys understand that the aspect of financial credit. I'm going to tie this into like physical beauty. I'm going to tie this into actual credit, like your credibility and all this type of shit that is like crazy as fuck. But like ultimately, I'm not going to have it be too long of a video. But most people are borrowing credit. They're borrowing credibility elsewhere. They're not autonomous. They're not individualized. They're not aboriginal. They're not original. They are borrowing credit. They are borrowing someone's credit. Okay. And I'm going to get into literally into my own instance of how this happened in my life. The entitlement is straight up. It's so fucking real. Some people are too delusional. The TOO. Okay. I don't really like too a lot. I don't like that word a lot. But ultimately, there is I do think that some delusional confidence for the right mannerisms, for the right experiences, and for the right actions, the right reasons, actually can transmute and transform into real confidence and trust within. The problem is most people stay in their delusion and their illusion and their disillusionment and do not transform it into confidence and into internal trust, into inner belief, into inner autonomy, to be able to stand apart. Okay, and that's from teaching people how to fish. Obviously, you have to be taught how to fish to know how to fish. Okay, you have to be taught how to make money to know how to make money. And people are like, oh, well, but also you have to be willing to learn too. You do have to be willing to learn. You cannot just be like, oh, well, nobody gave it to me, so I can't do it. It's like, but you also have to be like, I'm gonna fucking go get my shit. I'm gonna go get my bag. Like, if you really want to be, at least financially well off, if you really want to be well off in a relationship, you have to learn the woman. You have to learn the man. You have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to talk to him. You have to learn how to be able to articulate words. You have to learn how to be etymological in the word articulation that you're conveying. Let's keep going. Most people are borrowing, not investing. There was a study. Someone came to me. Someone came to me and he was like, it's like 65% of people are in credit card debt or have credit debt, and I'm like, or it's like the majority of it. Like most people are actually in debt. And I was like, I already knew this. Like I study. I stay on top of my shit. All right. I still have not really met somebody who's like on my shit. I know there's like a few, and hey, that's by all means. I'm just in my grind. I also, if you are, I fucking respect you. I fucking respect you. Keep going. Okay. Most people are borrowing, not investing. So they're borrowing from other people. They're borrowing credibility from other people. They are borrowing a pretty body from birth, but not investing in going to the gym or dieting or nutritional lifestyle. See, this is my point. They are borrowing their credibility with their cars that they financed. They got on credit. They're borrowing credit based on their houses, based on the size of their status symbol of it. So what is the size of their symbol or their status symbol of it? So they're going to buy an Escalade because they have a mental projection, and they've seen mental projections from people in the matrix, from their outer, so from without. There's no internal state of autonomy in it. And they'll say, oh, these people that I'm trying to impress, like Will Smith said, these people that I'm trying to impress, I'm going to buy something so then I can impress them, but I really can't afford it, but I want to show that I am at the status level, okay? Even though they're not at the status level. Okay, that's the problem with America, which we're going to get into. We're going to get into proper African culture and how there's actually no fucking credit in Africa. And that's why these beings are actually way more wealthier than Americans. Okay, and obviously it's like, it's the place. Okay, you guys already know how I feel. I don't have to state that. Now, they are borrowing their credibility with their cars and their houses and the size of their status symbol of it, but actually do not and cannot afford the entire car or house or asset. I'm not coming at people. Okay, I've had my broke aspect of it, and now I'm the rich aspect of it, and I've transmuted all the poor aspects and brokey aspects of it into my riches. I understand, okay? I've done the work. I get it. I've done the emotional baggage. I've done the trauma. I've done the trauma bonding, the trauma healing from the trauma bonding. You see what I'm saying? So that is most people, though. Okay, if you actually look at African culture, they do not live on credit. They are fully credible. They are accredited for. They are incredible. Incredible. They are credible. They are credible within. Melanin. That's all I'm going to say. Melanin. Melanin is light. Melanin is way more expensive than gold. Okay. Specifically in the Western culture, most people are borrowing money, borrowing credibility. They're borrowing their credit. So when somebody looks pretty, when somebody looks like they have money, when somebody like almost be like, oh, the reason why they're doing that is because they don't. So I know this, I'm not saying that this is like everybody. Like there is that 1%, but like those like, or that like 10% of people that are like, oh, I'm actually really wealthy and I just wear a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Or hey, I'm really wealthy and I'm also gonna drive up in a Bentley. Like there are people like that. Like don't get me wrong. I'm just telling you that don't let the negative projections of how they want you to perceive them to really govern how they really are and how they really are internally looking at themselves. And I'm not coming at anybody. I want you guys to see this and take this with a grain of salt, that you must like look at this from a perspective of like, you know, like we are really looking for truth. We are looking for truth all around us. And then we also have different projections and perspectives of what we believe the truth is and all this different type of stuff, okay? Which is why there's the your truth, my truth, your truth, all this, the truth, all this stuff, okay? So there's three things I can't hide, guys. The sun, the moon, and the truth. Not for long, at least. Now, one big thing, guys, is specifically in Western culture, most people are borrowing money, borrowing credibility. Now, story time. I was dating this chick. I won't call her a woman. She was way too young. She continuously complained about all the shit that she already has. She complained about, and I'm, like I said, guys, I'm not coming at anybody. I'm not doing it. I'm just giving a hypothetical for you guys. I'm not even saying this actually happened. This is all just hypothetical. This is all just hypothetical. But I want you to look at this perception. Okay. So she already has a $18,000 car. She has an $18,000 car. It's paid off. Okay. She was given it. It's fucking nice. It's 4-wheel drive. It's literally perfect. Okay. I drove it and cannot seem to be in any way grateful for a fully paid. Oh, it's actually $20,000 to $30,000, but she sold it for $18,000. $20,000 to $30,000 car. lasts literally a lifetime. It's literally like one of those like lifetime cars. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully you guys get it. It's like a box. Okay, that's it. Lasts a lifetime. Instead, sells the car for $17,000 and then doesn't be like, I'll buy a $12,000 car and then I'll save $5,000, put $5,000 in my bank account because I literally am broke. Like, she doesn't say that. What she does is she goes, I want to buy a $24,000 car and I want to finance the other $7,000. What the fuck? Like, what in the fuck? Like, seriously. So, $17,000. $17,000, you have $17,000 in cash. First of all, it's like somebody just handed you fucking $17,000 because you didn't buy that to begin with. You were given it. You were just given the car, which is like $30,000 and it can last forever. Okay. Okay. And if you finance the car, you just went down in status because now you are in debt. You are in debt. And then you have a car, which is a depreciating liability or depreciating asset. It is somewhat a liability. You still have gas. You still have all these things that you have to do and put into it. But not only that, then when you can't afford it or the payments are too high, you ask someone like me, who has perfect credit, by the way, perfect credit, okay? You ask me to co-sign and then borrow my credibility, my perfect credibility, my substantial amount of credibility while walking with the status that I have because of my credibility. So somebody gets that and they get lower payments. They went down from like 380, 350 to like 150, 168, something like that. Fucking nothing, by the way. Like, just fucking nothing. $100. That's what I'm fucking worth when I go buy a car. It's literally just like zero. Here's her car. Okay. Had to compare herself to everyone around her, including her family. That is fucking interesting as shit. That is interesting as shit. I don't understand why we borrow the credibility for the status of people's perception. It's generally because we have a misperception of ourselves. I'm not saying that this person is imperfect. I'm not saying this person is perfect. I'm not saying anything like this. What I'm saying is take things with a grain of salt that you have to realize. And this is, I see this at work. I see this fucking everywhere, that it's just like, you want to add the butt lift. You want to add the lip fillers. You want to add the fake everything. You want to have different things like this. And like, fucking by all fucking means, I don't care. I don't give one fucking shit. But it's not for the opposite sex. If it's generally based in those types of things, it's for you to compare yourself and compete and with status about other people, which it means that you're not inherently happy where you fucking are. Okay. And same with fucking men. If you're always fucking like trying to buy a new Lambo, a new fucking car and all this, unless you are like already have your shit dialed in, like, that's the thing is like, you have to come at the people who don't have any fucking status. Like, they literally don't have any fucking internet. They don't have any internet presence. They don't have any fucking business presence. They don't have any type of presence. They don't have any type of presence. They don't just like, you know what I mean? But then they're like, oh, I'm going to get some Gucci. I'm going to get some chains. And I'm like, bro, you're $10,000 in debt because you want to look like you're rich. What? I would rather be fucking rich and just have a t-shirt. First of all, so then I could be invisible so people don't even just be like, I'm going to rob this fucking person because I look like I'm rich. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You're not as rich as you look. You're as rich as you are. You're not as rich as you look. You are as rich as you are. Okay? You do not attract what you want. You do not attract how you project. You attract what you are. You attract what you are. You already told me you feel and think like shit. I say, watch your actions if you are feeling shitty. So instead of thinking and feeling like shit, start to emit on the frequencies of attraction and affluence, wealth, true affluence, where you are, and not only that, but status and true, congruency with who you really are vibrationally, so you can emit on those frequencies of vibration and attract what you truly are. I would rather drive a fucking beat up $700 car and then actually have some fucking money, even if it's in a year, than show up in debt with hella interest, all this shit, just finances, all this fucking shit, and then look like I'm rich and not be rich. Like I that's all I have to fucking say. And I want you guys to understand that people borrow credibility all the time. They borrow credibility all of the time. It's like you have to like kind of differentiate between people. People who just do like pump workouts. You're not as muscular as you look, bro. You're not as muscular, you're not as strong or muscular or functional as you might look. Just because you have that doesn't mean that you weren't just given to it. How do you take care of it? How do you take care of it? You might be having a perfect face. You might be having a perfect body. And this is a lesson. I'm not coming at people who are pretty. I believe I'm a very beautiful being. My whole thing is yes, I'm beautiful. I'm going to take care of my beauty. I'm going to take care of it. I'm not going to just do it and be like, oh, be so beautiful that you don't have to compete. Be so in competition with who you are, like be like bettering yourself so much that you don't care about being better than someone else. Like you're just in your own fucking lane. Like you're just autonomous. You're just an aboriginal autonomous being. That's really it. You're just in your own fucking lane. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And the only thing that generally I teach is to teach you to be in your own lane because I'm in my own lane. I'm not like, oh, hey, you know, like I need to flex on you. I need to flex my shit so then you see how fucking badass I am. Like, I don't care. Like, I just don't fucking care about that. And most people are probably already tuned out, but like, just so you guys know, just because you finance a purse, if you don't have any money to put in the purse, that sucks. Okay? That sucks. That fucking sucks, right? It's like you buy this $3,000 purse, you don't have $3,000 to put in a purse. I'd rather buy a $5 purse that looks like fake leather and all this fake ass shit, but it looks pretty. It looks pretty, you know? And actually put $3,000 in it. Like, make it make sense. That's all I gotta say, guys. Peace, much love, namaste. This is borrowing credibility. Just don't fall into this trap. Don't fall into this fucking lame ass shit. Stop borrowing credibility. And it's not even just about borrowing financially. It's about borrowing physical, you know, borrowing mental. It's about borrowing emotional, coming off like you're emotionally available and you're really fucking not. Coming off mentally intelligent like you're really fucking not. We fucking know you're not. Coming off financially institutional and all these other different things. So let's just stop this one here. Peace, much love, namaste.